It was said that the tower hadn't worked in decades, its hands frozen eternally at 3:15, but its presence cast an eerie shadow over the cobblestone paths, especially as dusk approached. It was said that the tower hadn't worked in decades, its hands frozen eternally at 3:15, but its presence cast an eerie shadow over the cobblestone paths, especially as dusk approached. 17-year-old Mia Thompson, having just moved to Eldridge, was drawn to the clock tower. She had heard whispers from her classmates about the strange happenings that surrounded it. Some said it was haunted, others believed it trapped souls of those who had ventured too close. Ignoring the warnings, curiosity bubbled within her, coaxing her closer to the weathered structure. One chilly afternoon in late October, Mia gathered her friends, Lucas, a skeptic with a penchant for pranks, and Jenna, an avid believer in the supernatural. They agreed to meet beneath the clock tower at sunset. As they approached, the air grew noticeably colder, the sky overhead bleeding into deep indigo. "Well, here we are," Jenna whispered, her breath misting in the crisp air. Lucas scoffed and pulled out his phone to take a picture. "You really believe this place is haunted?" he asked, suppressing a grin. "There's something wrong here," Jenna replied, glancing up at the clock. "I can feel it." Quote, ignoring Jake, Mia stepped forward, entranced by the tower. As she moved closer, she could swear she felt a pulse of energy emanating from it, a beckoning she couldn't resist. "Let's just take a look," she urged, and before they could protest, she was already ascending the weathered steps leading up to the entrance. Inside, dust motes danced in the fading light, and the air was heavy with the scent of rust. The clock mechanism sat in disarray, its gears encrusted with age, but the face was still hauntingly beautiful. Suddenly, the sun vanished behind a gathering storm, and shadows clawed at the walls. "Great, now we're trapped in a horror movie," Lucas joked, but his bravado faltered as thunder rumbled outside. Mia approached the clock face, inadvertently setting off a hidden mechanism. A deep, resonant chime filled the air, echoing through the tower like a heartbeat. With every chime, the ground shivered beneath them. The world outside seemed to twist. The flicker of electricity buzzed, lighting up the tower, then darkness reigned once more. They were enveloped in shadows, and when the light returned, they found themselves back outside the clock tower, just as dusk deepened. "What the?" Jenna's voice trailed off as confusion washed over them. "Did we just?" Lucas stammered, his phone still flashing with the last picture he took. "Okay, that was weird," Mia said, glancing behind her at the clock tower. Its hands had shifted, now resting at 3:15. "Let's get out of here," Lucas suggested, but Mia's curiosity once again took the helm. The details of the moment, clothing, the trees, the chill in the air, were too vivid to dismiss. As they walked away, the sun dipped below the horizon in a flurry of color, and before they realized it, they were back beneath the clock tower yet again. "Why are we back here?" Mia exclaimed, panic rising in her chest. And then the clock chimed again. This time, a figure appeared in the doorway of the tower, a dark silhouette, its face obscured by shadows and a wide-brimmed hat. As it stepped into the fading light, the shadows seemed to cling to it like a second skin. "Welcome, children," it rasped, its voice an unsettling harmony of whispers. "You've come to play." Quote, the figure lunged toward them with unnatural speed, but they were already moving, running through the town square, the sound of the clock echoing behind them, each chime pulling them closer to an endless loop. As they dashed through the cobblestone paths, they saw the townsfolk stare blankly at them, eyes hollow and lost. It was as if they had been stricken dumb, all existing in a time that wasn't present, the sunset hovering at the edge of twilight, forever out of reach. The three friends stumbled upon an old, dust-covered library, desperate for answers. They found a hidden tome about the dark history of Eldridge. The entries told of a clockmaker who had crafted the tower, a man consumed by his obsession with time, who ultimately imprisoned himself in his own creation, unable to escape. "We need to destroy the clock," Mia shouted, realizing that it was the source of their nightmare. They raced back towards the tower, but the shadowy figure awaited them, blocking their path. "You cannot leave," it hissed. "You chose this." Quote, "Maybe we did," Mia replied, her heart pounding. Grabbing a nearby stone, she hurled it at the clock's face. The glass shattered, and the clock let out a wail, the sound piercing through the very fabric of time. With a blinding flash, time twisted, unraveled, collapsed around them. Darkness engulfed the tower, the figure screaming in rage as it disintegrated into smoke, releasing the trapped souls of Eldridge. They felt an intense jolt, like being pulled through a tunnel. When they emerged, the sun had risen, painting the town anew in warm sunlight. Breathless, Mia, Lucas, and Jenna found themselves on the cobblestone square, the clock tower standing silent and still, its hands forever frozen at 3:16. They exchanged glances, unsure if they had truly escaped or if it was merely a reprieve. But the whispers of the past lingered around them. One thing was certain. Time had changed, but the shadow of the clock would remain in their hearts, a memory of the night they fought for freedom. In Eldridge, the clock no longer ticked, but the echoes of its chimes would forever remind them of their brush with eternity.